Greetings and welcome to the channel. Today, we will be enjoying a fascinating story called The Young and the Restless. I hope you find some time to unwind after reading this story. Remember to subscribe, like, and comment to help the channel. Let's now discuss the story's primary theme. Hung has always been regarded as a man of passion and determination. Many friends worry about what's going on at home when it's time to go to bed. A young man's wife or girlfriend at home is unsure if he has a lover when he goes to bed because they must leave the family to serve in the military. Nobody is anticipating the boy's departure for military duty. However, Hung is frequently described as an outsider. Lin, his girlfriend, is still in love. He and she have been together for 2 years. In addition to concentrating on the mission during his service, Hung frequently calls home to see his family, especially Lin. He feels more connected to his loved ones when he has lengthy conversations at night. Additionally, he is growing more confident in Lin's loyalty. Hung is standing by himself today, feeling every chilly wind beneath the vast sky. He formally goes to bed on this day. The long journey is over. Hung has the opportunity to transfer universities and escape military service, but his heart is always set on serving his nation. His decision to enlist in the military is a source of pride as well as responsibility. Hung doesn't have to remember Lin, two people who have loved one another since they were in school, when he passes the military gate for the final time. And despite the difficulties posed by time and distance, they continue to be in love. Hung is aware that he will be reunited with his loved ones today, following 2 years of waiting. Hung finds Lin and his father waiting for him when the gate opens. When he rushes to them, his heart beats quickly. With the joy of welcoming everyone, he turned to embrace his father and gave Lin a warm embrace. Despite his 2 years of military service, he appears robust and healthy. At last, my son has matured, his father chuckles, Hung says. Of course he has to grow up, with pride as he looks at his father. I'm an adult man now, but I was only a teenager once. Ki Min Koi is standing next to Lin. She has continued to occasionally visit his father over the last 2 years. He is her father-in-law, in her opinion. Family members on both sides have a great deal of affection for one another. Hung is also well liked by her parents, who regard him as a man of integrity. He treats his daughter with honesty. She's waiting on him to tie the knot. Lin awaits his arrival. When will you marry me now that you are a man? For 2 years, I have been waiting for you. My youth must be made up for by you. Hung laughs, nods, and gets married. I have no doubt that you will marry. Who are you going to marry now if not me? However, you must allow me some time to get ready for Hung's wedding, is that correct? Lin and Hung return home with joy. She stayed in the kitchen that day to prepare rice for her 2 kids. Lin was in the kitchen at the moment, concentrating solely on preparing rice, so he talked to his son. How are you today? Prepare to wed Lin. In the last 2 years, she has met a lot of men. She is faithful to me, though. She never grows accustomed to anyone. Someone stopped by my house last night to ask if I wanted to marry her. Such a loyal person is hard to come by these days. When my father told me his story, I was taken aback. I never heard Lin tell me, even though he called me multiple times. She was constantly expressing how lonely she felt. She had a wedding planned and was waiting for me to get home. In addition, he was uncertain if anyone would wed her. Hung just realized now that she said that on purpose to cheer him up, but he knew she was always faithful to him because of that. Yes, Dad, I am aware. I'm hoping for a successful day. I'm going to ask my father to marry me. In any case, she has already spent 2 years waiting for me. I will live with regrets for the rest of my life if I don't marry her. That's correct, Dad. It's hard to find a girl like Lin. Dad, will you marry her parents or will you be a 9-month-old girl? Hung concurred as well. He visited her parents at their home. Her parents are loving, compassionate, and kind. They are always very excited when he comes to visit. Additionally, his father is raising his child by himself as a single man. Hung's mother died of a horrible cancer that year when he was 9 years old. He witnessed his father's suffering at the time, but a young boy like him had to experience loss. It's not a simple task. He simply knows how to weep. He must have been very depressed at the time, but he couldn't stop looking at his wife's picture. Nevertheless, he made an effort to look after Hung and his older brother. In order to raise his brother to be a good person, he went to work by himself. Hung held his father in high regard as a result. In any case, he also brought him up to be a good person. Lin had dinner at his house that day. The young couple went outside to play in the garden in the afternoon while holding hands. They conversed while sitting on a swing. Lin, you must have had a very difficult 2 years. Have you recently spoken with your father? He promised to visit your home and propose to you within the following 9 months. How are you feeling? Are you interested in becoming his husband? When she heard that, she gave him a soft smile. Or this guy. For so long, people have been waiting for you. Perhaps you ought to break up with him right away and find a new husband. Your dad really wants that. No, for sure, he asked. He feared that you would back out and abandon him once more. In any case, you must give him credit. I'm grateful that he left the other guys waiting for a soldier like you. He will make an effort to provide for you throughout your life, even if you don't end up being wealthy. Lin was pleased and gave me a small smile when she heard how romantic my boyfriend was. She believed that the past 2 years had been worthwhile. She always secretly wished that one day he would join her. She was so adamant because of this. Their lips met as Hung pulled her a bit closer. They kissed each other passionately, as though they were deeply in love with one another. She hadn't touched her lovely lips in a long time. Hung felt very at ease. When her boyfriend took the initiative, she was also pleased. When they first started dating, they were shy. Such a kiss was not common. Hung turned his head and let her go after she kissed him. Although they had kissed before, it was the first time they had done so for such a long time. He resembled a true man. After 2 years in the army, he had mastered every skill. He also used his actions to convey how he felt. Before, he was still a shy boy, but he has since grown and changed. In the army, he must have missed her terribly. He had to take her home, of course, and try to make her happy. She waited for him to return home. Turning her head. Her parents told her boyfriend to come home when they noticed him sleeping. Hung didn't prepare a gift to visit them, but they said hello to each other and took her home. They expressed their regret and told him how much his daughter missed him and how happy they were to see him again. When her father declared that he did not like her and did not want her to be with him, she was extremely embarrassed. Hung grinned at her and declared his love for her, saying he would marry her if he could. He still missed her despite their separation and hoped to complete his military service in order to wed her. For a long time, Hung stayed and spoke with his parents. Being with his parents made him feel at ease. They both agreed that he was their son-in-law because they considered him to be their own son-in-law. He got up at around 6 o'clock and begged his parents to let him go home so he could see them the following day. Because he remembered to wave to his mother-in-law, he warned his parents to exercise caution. His parents visited her home 9 months later to talk about the wedding. They were husband and wife without hesitation after falling in love for so long. At the end of the following month, they gave their son permission to marry her without hesitation. All day long, my son has been moving back and forth in my home. He must have been really missing his daughter. They texted each other and laughed after he responded that his daughter was the same as his parents. Who had laughed at him. He made the decision to wed her next month if that was the plan. My husband wanted us to have a child soon, and he gave birth to this one at the age of 60. Yes, exactly. Given that we currently only have one child, we are hopeful that we will soon become parents. We discussed the ceremony, the attire, the wedding pictures, and the planning of the wedding before deciding to get married. We let the bride and groom make the final decision. They became mom and dad and changed their names. They then got ready for the wedding. Everything was carried out as Lin had requested. He did as he pleased, and she did as she pleased. He gave her the freedom to choose because she was more attractive. He was overjoyed when we got to pick out the ring at the wedding. What are your thoughts on this ring? Is it lovely? Is there another lovely ring out there? Yes, your wife is correct, no other ring is more exquisite than ours, Hung said with a joyful smile. One by one, we composed the wedding invitations. He slipped into the room and gave her a hug the night before the wedding. He was exhausted after that and had to woo his friends. His juniors made up the majority of his friends. They were surprised that he had such a beautiful and powerful love. He crept into his wife's room ahead of the wedding tomorrow. Let me go to bed early, go now. I'll give you one more hug, outside, everyone is intoxicated. Come on over here. You will be my wife tomorrow, are you aware of my happiness? I am aware. She pushed him out of her bedroom as soon as possible after kissing him to give him strength. Hung grinned like a child, beaming with joy. She had to rise early the following morning in order to change and apply makeup. Her father-in-law and her parents were greeting visitors outside. In order to speak outside, the groom had to run, the guests were full just in time. He inhaled deeply and gave his wife a hug. He and she had a very special wedding, and everyone congratulated them. To make some of the audience envious, they even shared a kiss on stage. Hung and Lin couldn't wait to visit every table and say hello to everyone. The brothers entered the room covertly while intoxicated as well. It was imperative that the bride and groom spend a romantic evening together. It had been a while since they had enjoyed each other's company. Being able to discuss their marriage with one another made them both very happy. The two bodies gave each other their most valuable possessions and coexisted harmoniously. At last, both of them went to bed because they were exhausted. He placed himself on the bed from the bottom of his heart. He was healthy because he had undergone training. In fact, he was a bit more shy than most people. He was very manly, and it was great to be next to him. Hung spoke sweetly while holding her hand. That's the only way to help you relax, of course. They both grinned before drifting off to sleep. It was the following morning when he awoke. The girl was in his room when Hung opened his eyes. A ray of sunlight was shining through the window as he kissed her forehead while maintaining his posture. She felt uneasy when it landed on her lovely face. The soft gaze Hung was giving her was visible when she opened her eyes. He was awake but refused to sit up. He didn't call her since he waited for her to wake up and discovered that she was still asleep. She eventually went to bed slowly. When she heard that, she turned to face him and kissed him tenderly. Hung also acknowledged that they went to his house for breakfast because she knew how to make his heart beat. She began visiting his home as his wife after that day. Even though his father was a good man, he was worried that his mother-in-law would claim that God was the one who provided for them. I'm not joking. After breakfast, his father returned home. Hung must have been exhausted from yesterday's wedding. His father claimed he couldn't take it any longer because he had too many things to worry about and that having a wedding once was enough. What the heck? Are you interested in marrying another girl or something? Hung gave a nod. Not even his own daughter was loved by him. He had no time to fall in love with another woman. It was sufficient to have one girl. He was too avaricious. That isn't the case. Let's eat breakfast. Additionally, he gave his wife careful consideration. His father asked him, now that you're retired, what are you going to do? Will you be at work? He was trained to do this and that, according to his father, but he was going to join the army as a soldier. He was superior to the other guys and had the opportunity to enlist in the army. I think it's good to be a soldier in the army, he said, nodding. In addition, I'm respected, so I doubt anyone would harass my wife. Of course, said Hung with a smile. Who would harass his sibling? At the start of the wedding, the family was in a very joyful mood. In order to register his issue and view Hung's file, he drove to the police station. However, since he is no longer required to serve as a soldier, he wishes to move to a different province, but doing so would require him to live away from home. Hung was a little concerned about this. He recently got married. It's been a while since his wife left the house. The husband and wife then sat on the bed and conversed with one another. He had a little trouble getting to work, too. The wife performed this work for the recently married husband. It was a little awkward for him because the wife performed that task. Really? Which province will you visit next? Is my province nearby? Next, proceed to the adjacent province, consider it, or go find another job close to home so that it's convenient for both your husband and you, as well as your father. After giving it some thought, she took his hand and said, or you just go to work. In any case, he has a more secure job, perhaps he always gives up what he wants to do because he isn't at home. Leave for work. Do you have to go to work every day? You are permitted to eat at home occasionally. He truly doesn't want to be separated from his family, and I believe that to be true. He worked for 2 years, which was a very long time. Not long ago, he left home to work alongside his father and the person he loves. Perhaps he doesn't have time to come here. Perhaps his schedule is far from home. Perhaps, can we go out together for a week, though? Consider it your honeymoon. Is it possible for you to take a week off? Lynn works for the organization. In the standard staff room, she is also merely an employee. Additionally, the salary is 10 million. Not even a high-level worker. That might be acceptable. In any case, take a honeymoon. Your boss is on board, too. When you're done playing, will you be heading to work? He nodded, too. He felt compelled to go despite his reluctance after considering what she had said. Perhaps I'll return here to look for work close to my home once I've saved up enough cash to purchase a home. It was still possible to have children at that time. They are both in their 20s now. Without children, what do you fear? I'll change my mind and go to work there if we hang out for a week or so. In that case, I decide to go. Would you like to go somewhere? It doesn't matter, we go together. So long as you accompany me. When my spouse and I search online for a honeymoon destination, we purchase a ticket and then head to bed. Marriage's initial days are extremely hectic. When we go to sleep, we give each other a hug. We give each other a hug and a few kisses before bed. When we spoke with my father the following morning, he concurred as well. When Hung got home yesterday, he informed him that he would have to stay away from home if he went to work. He was too scared to decide for his son, since Hung now has a wife as well. He let his husband make the final decision. A trip is beneficial for both of them. They also shared a brief memory before Hung left for work. Don't forget to return home if you have time. Don't abandon your spouse. Yes, Dad, I am aware. I'll take advantage of the chance to return home if I'm granted leave. However, I also want to be near my wife. We haven't seen each other in a while. I have complete faith in Lynn. Because she has been waiting for him to go to work for the past 2 years. He firmly grasps Lynn's hand. Having such a devoted wife makes me feel incredibly fortunate. Lynn requested to take a few days off to enjoy the honeymoon on that particular day, thus, the supervisor was pleased to grant her a week's leave. Her leave was successful. Let's begin packing the essentials, prepare for the journey, and complete everything after work. To begin their honeymoon, a car arrived the following morning to pick them up. He knew she enjoyed seafood, so he picked the well-known Nha Trang beach. So he picked the beach on purpose. The couple returned to Dalat after spending 2 days and 1 night at the beach, where they feasted on a variety of delectable dishes prepared by the villagers. When I saw the scenery in Dalat firsthand, it was even more romantic than it appeared in the photo. It appears to be happier even though it's a little colder than where they live. Despite the fact that it's warmer in cold weather, they always hold hands. The two of them traveled to Hanoi, the final destination, after 3 days in Dalat. She was shown the romantic landscape of Hanoi, the location of Tang Long, by Hung. The trip ended happily for the couple as well. Hung was getting ready for work the following day after spending the previous day at home. After spending a joyful week with him, she took him to the bus stop, but now she must send him off. Hung was depressed to see Lynn continue to shiver. Come on, stop crying now. Could you give me a call now? Help me out around the house by staying at home. I'll give you a call as soon as you have time. I am aware. Do not forget to look after Hung. All right, I understand. It isn't anything. Don't cry, he encouraged her by giving her a quick kiss on the forehead. She drove to the company to work after standing there staring at his car until it was empty. Hung lived with her husband when she wasn't home. After cooking for him, she ate and conversed with him. She thought her husband was a very laid-back individual. He didn't criticize or compliment the food she prepared. Lin also considered herself fortunate to have such a laid-back husband. Additionally, Hung made the effort to call her virtually every day in order to speak with her. He would text her to speak with her if he was unable to call. Lin felt at ease with his concern. She occasionally displayed simple greed as well. After preparing dinner for her husband today, she abruptly shattered the glass on the floor. Glass fragments also followed and shattered on the ground. "What did you do to break it?" he asked after removing it and observing the scene. "How could you break it when you were cooking?" "Dad, it's nothing. I'm capable of managing it on my own, I apologize." He merely gave a slight shake of his head. "It isn't anything, simply give it a thorough cleaning. Avoid cutting your hand once more." "Yes, I am aware of that, Dad, don't worry." After giving a nod, he left the window. To be honest, she was thinking about her husband coming home and being by her side while she was holding the glass. She was very happy when she saw those scenes. Lin cleared away the shattered pieces right away and went back to cooking. She visited her mother's home today and sent her husband a rooster. She prepared meals for her husband with joy. They haven't eaten together in a very long time. She therefore brought them some wine. They enjoyed a few glasses of wine and had a good time. He was a little tipsy because they hadn't had wine in a while. The rooster was sweet, the food was good, and the wine was good. As a result, the meal was better than usual. I expressed my gratitude to my father-in-law for the rooster. According to my father-in-law, the rooster was excellent. I said the rooster was excellent to my father-in-law. I said the rooster was excellent to my father-in-law. I said the rooster was excellent to my father-in-law. I informed my father-in-law that I had complimented him on the rooster. I said the rooster was excellent to my father-in-law. I said the rooster was excellent to my father-in-law. I said the rooster was excellent to my father-in-law. I said the rooster was excellent to my father-in-law. I said the rooster was excellent to my father-in-law. I said the rooster was excellent to my father-in-law. I said the rooster was excellent to my father-in-law. I said the rooster was excellent to my father-in-law. I said the rooster was excellent to my father-in-law. I said the rooster was excellent to my father-in-law. The doorway. With her mouth closed to prevent speech and her eyes wide open, she opened the door. Mr. Kwong was taken aback as well. He ran to the other room and quickly changed into his clothes. Lin examined his body, showing no signs of weakness. Bitterly, she wept. She remained in the room the entire day. She just sobbed while lying in the room. Concernedly, Mr. Kwong paced in front of the room door. Mr. K gave a call. "I'm not hungry, Lin. You start by eating." "I understand you're upset with me, Lin. I apologize. The wine is the only reason. I'm not getting any wine from now on." He exhaled. The evening was smashed and full of wine. There was a commotion inside. She quickly dressed and resumed her meal. "Don't do that, Dad. I am solely to blame. I really do miss you." She started crying as she talked about it. Heartbroken, Mr. Tan gazed at his daughter-in-law. Lin called her husband that evening. She sobbed and expressed her desire for her husband to return home as soon as possible. Hung made the decision to request permission to return home after witnessing his wife sobbing uncontrollably. A few days later, his wife was always with him in the bar the day after Hung returned. The night before his departure, Hung kept going back to the unit. Hung made an effort to compensate his young spouse. Hung went to the water and sobbed like a flower. Hung arrived home too late this time. Nearly a month has passed since then. Once more, she missed her husband. She couldn't sleep at night because she missed Hung so much. Outside, Mr. Kwong could clearly hear his daughter-in-law's voice. He entered after pushing the door. "Have you slept yet, Lin?" Lin, accustomed to sleeping comfortably, pushed himself quickly over a crowd of people upon hearing Mr. Kwong's voice. She had no idea what was happening. 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 Since she had no idea what it was, he pushed her down to the bed and helped her do it for nearly 6 months. After noticing that Lin's eyes were full of desire, in addition to taking a bath, Lin was somewhat taken aback by her husband. He gave her the impression that she was valued and pampered. It's true that there will occasionally be a second instance. After that, she occasionally takes the initiative to search for her husband when she is unable to control herself any longer. He unintentionally relished it once more, and naturally. He relished it to the fullest extent possible. Nobody would be foolish enough to turn down such invitations. In addition to being her father-in-law, he is the one who supports her in times of need. Hung also calls her frequently. Lin also talked about how much she loved her husband. It's true that she doesn't use her father-in-law for love, she only uses him to relieve her body. She also believed that it was because her husband had to travel a great distance. Hung returned home a week later. That day, Lin was ecstatic. To purchase ingredients for the hot pot, the two of them accompanied one another to the street market. She hugged her military-clad husband while sitting on a wheelbarrow. She exuded pride and confidence. Her lovely husband was praised by everyone who attended the market. I hope you both have kids soon. Tung Team was reportedly very happy, according to Lin. Her father also poured 3 cups of wine after the family finished their hot pot dinner that evening. Hung also instructed Lin to go to bed early at 8 o'clock. At around 10 o'clock, it had been a while since he had seen his wife. They were both like baby birds that night. Lin gazed at his husband's rigid back, which he was keen to press his head against. His skin was shiny and he had a strong spine. Days had been spent reciting the strong scent of the man and the wind. She was unconscious when she remembered her father-in-law. She had wrinkles on her skin. She felt lightheaded from the old man's body odor. An hour passed while Hung sighed. What's the matter with you? Do you feel depressed? Lin gave a headshake. Her heart pounded rapidly. When she realized she wouldn't be visiting this week, her hands started to shake. She was rushing. Where? Because that belly was cold from your seafood hot pot. Didn't you think you were concealing the baby inside your belly? Hung enjoyed giving his wife a sly smile. Lin found it intolerable. She continued to laugh. For her husband, her laugh was a joke. He had to lie beside the room and listen to the couple's laughter. Mr. Dung Dung took a deep breath and clasped his hands together. After spending a few days at home, Hung returned to the agency. Sick, Lin embraced her husband. She wished him not to leave. He was unable to return for Tet. He would have to leave before Tet if not this year. You purchase a complete house while remaining at home. I'll return the money. Lin had a sad expression. Lin was dozing off in the room in the afternoon. It was warm. She opened the door with a push. Her hair was up and down and her dress was thinned by the loud fan blowing. Mr. Kwong's eyes were wide open as he entered the room. He noticed Lin curled up like a tender shrimp in a corner. Mr. Kwong attempted to soothe him by swallowing the water, but was unsuccessful. Are you sleeping, Lin? Are you ill? Why don't you eat much rice? With haste, he entered the room. His sentence was not yet complete. He approached the bed. The in-law's daughter took a seat. Mr. Ki touched Lin's thigh with his hand. She was unexpectedly touched by a hand. Lynn gave her legs a shake. "Why did you enter here, Dad?" "Dad only wanted to check on the child's health. The kid wasn't ill." Dad left. Lynn told the child that Dad needed to lock the door the next time he entered the room. "Not ill or what? It is not tasty to eat neither rice nor meat." As Lynn heard the father-in-law's words, she noticed a lump stretch to her neck. She spent several hours coughing. Suddenly, Mr. Kwong inquired, "Are you pregnant? Do you own the fetus in your womb?" Lynn yelled, "Don't talk nonsense, Dad," upon hearing this. "Mr. Hung is the owner of this fetus. The child belongs to Mr. Hung." "Is it owned by Hung? Are you certain? How long has it been since you met him? How is that possible?" "No, it must belong to Mr. Hung. I've had a few encounters with him. How come it can't be? Despite his advanced age, he still possesses great strength." "Come on, you don't have to identify the child," Mr. Kwong said. "Take the kid to the hospital, Dad." In order to help Lynn sit up, Mr. Kwong came to give her a hug. He took Lynn by the hand and dragged her away. Mr. Kwong stopped as the step barely made it to the door. Hung was standing in front of the door. His shoulder still held a backpack. Hung's hand trembled. "Dad, what are you talking about?" said Mr. Kwong. "Your wife gave birth to your child, but why?" Dad stated unequivocally that Lynn was dead. She called Hung's name while crying. Hung, however, ignored it. The soldier showed a lot of emotion. His heart was enraged. Hung struck so forcefully that it bled. Hung was too scared for Mr. Kwong to stop him. Hung gave him a handshake. "What did you stop me from doing?" he yelled in anger. "In order to take my wife, I assumed you wanted me to depart as soon as possible. Is it worth it to have a father like you? Are you still staring at my mom?" Hung yelled because he was upset. Dragged Mr. Kwong outside to the altar of Mrs. Hien. "Of course, don't listen in front of the frigid altar." At this point, Mr. Kwong grinned maniacally. He spoke clearly as he stood in front of his altar. "I would tell you everything if you said that to me, the secret that, in my opinion, will endure forever. I had to say it in front of Mrs. Hien's face in order to release my conscience-based rage. In actuality, you are unrelated to me. I'm a defenseless individual. There is no chance of becoming a parent. Because of our love for Mrs. Hien, we have shared a home for many years. As if it were my own child, I bit my tongue when she announced that she was expecting. Because I am aware that I was wrong to deny her the opportunity to fulfill her role as a mother. I have treated you like a baby for all these years. Your mom died. My heart is still big enough to raise you. I don't continue because I don't want to cause suffering to other women, but do you get what I'm saying? Early in the morning, I feel ill and lonely as well. I blossomed like a flower that withers early in the morning simply because I love Lynn so much. Don't assume I'm ignorant. You secretly pursue the daughter of Unit B's leader, so you remain in Unit A indefinitely and never return. What are you talking about, Dad? How come you're not my son? Who is your father, then? Why did you just say that now? The unit also included your father. He was the best friend of my father. When my mother learned I was expecting, he passed away from cancer. My father was kind to me and tried his best to raise me. Since I have the last word, my father is now mistaken about me. To be honest, I am at a loss for words at this moment. Your father is on one side. Your wife is on one side. The two most significant people in his life betrayed him. He can't take this hit at all. This story makes me feel so miserable. She went to do that with her husband because she was unable to control her intoxication. When I heard the entire story, I felt depressed. My gaze paused. As the sky grew darker, she opened the door without a word and fled. Hung and Kwong turned to face one another as the door opened. Lin was running in the dark when they saw him. Hung sprinted to locate his wife. It was dark in the sky. The sky was blown by a powerful wind. Above the sky, a loud sound reverberated. A person dove into the river. Hung rushed over to him. He had no time to reflect. In the water, he leaped. On the river, he held a white shirt. The rain continued to fall. Hung was completely soaked outside the ER. His head was lowered to the chilly floor. The door to the emergency room opened an hour later. Hung hurried back to the physician. "How is my wife doing, doctor?" "My wife is doing well. She is simply experiencing a miscarriage, doctor." "How long has my wife been pregnant?" "Yes, you are her spouse, but you are unaware of her pregnancy. She was also extremely inebriated. Fortunately, that miscarriage was unaffected. 7 weeks had passed since the miscarriage. She lost her pregnancy. Bring your wife in, don't forget to reheat your wife's porridge." Hung's head was bent. He entered the emergency department. Still lying on the bed was Lin. Perhaps she was awake, but she remained silent out of fear. She spent several days in the hospital. She was accompanied only by Hung. She was not seen by Mr. Kwong. Perhaps he was scared. Hung also did not return home. On his way home, he continued to carry his backpack. To care for Lin, he remained in the hospital. While in the hospital for a week, he noticed that the house was deserted. Mr. Kwong had no home of his own. He entered. The drinking table was empty except for a piece of paper. Mr. Kwong returned it. "Because of what transpired, dear son, I am at a loss for words. All I ask is your forgiveness. I've always taken pride in the fact that I did everything correctly, but I only made one mistake with you. However, this error is a sin committed by God.